Assalamu alaikum, sister. Thank you for writing to our live session. I truly understand where you're coming from. Sometimes there are things in life that are hard to move on from, right? They may be small, they may be large, but nonetheless, they're hard to move on from. And oftentimes it's because, it's the way your mind perceives things. And sometimes when anxiety is involved, depression, intrusive thoughts, or other mental health issues and results, it can make it even harder to move on, right? You indicated that you get symptoms of anxiety, dizziness, increased heart rate, suddenly feeling scared around people, wanting to be alone. Those are, symptoms of possible anxiety, right? And the anxiety may be stemming from the original event that you indicated was small, but it did affect you greatly. And it could be triggered by certain things, right? It could be triggered by a memory. It could be triggered by your senses even, right? You could see something, smell something, hear something that reminds you of what happened in the past. And that could trigger anxiety. Additionally, you can get anxiety just out of the blue, out of nowhere, right? Like you may be, in school or at work or with friends or even just sitting by yourself doing something, and the anxiety will hit. And I know you don't want to go for counseling. You already stated that. But really that is the best option. Because if it's not addressed, it can just grow bigger and bigger. And it's common. Anxiety is extremely common. Millions of people suffer from anxiety, as well as debilitating anxiety, like for their whole lives because they don't get treatment. So I know obviously that's the first thing I'm going to recommend is that you do go to a therapist, get assessed to make sure it is anxiety and to appropriately deal with it so that you don't have to suffer. You don't have to live with this. You don't have to feel like this, right? Because it can be resolved, inshallah. So now I know you don't want to go to a therapist, so I'm encouraging you to. But with that said, sister, I'm asking you to please, just maybe do some journaling. Write down the symptoms that you're having. Write down when they occur, right? Like, are there any triggers you can identify? Write down how long it lasts, and write down how intense is it. Also, write down a few things that you're doing to help decrease the anxiety, right? Like when the anxiety comes, do you use diversion techniques? Do you do breathing techniques? Do you try to just let it flow, right? A lot of these interventions work very well. There's mindfulness breathing where we stay in the present moment, okay? Because actually, we're in the present moment always. But a lot of times our minds go to the past or they go to the future with worry. So there's the past, sometimes we regret, and the future we worry about. And that causes anxiety. So doing mindfulness breathing, right, helps keep us focused in the present moment. And the thoughts that we have that cause anxiety, we acknowledge them, but we let them flow through, right? We don't think about them. We don't, ponder upon them and get more scared. We just let them flow through. We just keep focusing on our breathing. And if you want more information about that, please let me know. There's also diversion, right? Like when you start getting anxious, you start feeling feelings about the past, for that incident, do something else, right? Immediately, have a list of things you can do, whether it's reading the Quran or whether it's taking a walk or engaging in a hobby or another activity to get your mind off of it. That's very helpful. Also, you might want to do progressive muscle relaxation. And that's a technique that you can look up online, where you will physically tense each part of your body, starting with your toes and your feet, and work all the way up, and just tense your muscles and release them. that helps with anxiety as well. I do want to point out that, you can live life without worrying about that situation. You can live life without blaming yourself, right? And the one question is, why are you blaming yourself? Right? You intended no harm. And again, because I'm not familiar with the incident and it was a long time ago, rationally, your mind is, thinking that it's a current event, even though it knows it's a past event. And your mind is kind of carrying this forward with you as the years go by or the months go by, however long it's been, right? You asked if the person, if you're worried because you felt that you hurt them because you became distant. Well, maybe you're worried about it and it's always on your mind and it's causing you anxiety. However, the person probably has forgotten about it, right? That happens a lot. We worry about something that we may or may not have done or said, and the other person is not even thinking about it. So the only one that's being hurt is ourselves. So sister, you can break free from this anxiety. You can be happy again. You can stop blaming yourself. And you can live life without worrying about the situation. And that takes us to affirmations, okay? So affirmations are kind of the foundation for self-love, self-worth, self-confidence, and the ability to be empowered enough to move on. So inshallah, sister, I want you to come up with about 5 affirmations that you can say to yourself daily. And it may be like, I am safe, I am worthy, I am good, I am loved, I am okay, I am happy, I am free from anxiety. Now, those are just examples, right? But if you come up with some that are tailored to your situation and say them every day, what you're doing in effect is you're restructuring your cognitive thought processes, right? Right now, you're thinking, your cognition is, am I a bad person? I didn't mean to do anything wrong. Did I hurt somebody? Am I terrible? And so forth. This will help to restructure the way you think and the way that you feel, okay? And it may take some time. But positive affirmations and restructuring the way that your brain thinks, your cognition, will help, inshallah, in the future. Because your brain will not automatically think, oh, I'm bad, or oh, I feel terrible, or oh, I did this. Your brain will think, no, I'm safe. I am a good person. I am worthy. I am okay. Right? So, inshallah, sister, please try to do the mindfulness breathing. Try to do the progressive muscle relaxation exercise. Inshallah, try to do the affirmations. And again, I know you don't want to go for therapy, but if the anxiety becomes overwhelming, please do. Just try it once, right? Just try to, one time is all I'm asking, inshallah. I think that if you get a good therapist, I think you'll really enjoy it and it'll be a big relief and you'll feel so wonderful being freed from this anxiety that you're experiencing. Lastly, just please, sister, keep in prayer, keep close to Allah. Allah is most merciful and He knows what you're going through. And ask for Allah's guidance and blessings and healing as well. So with that said, sister, you can get away from this, you can heal from this, and you can move on. And again, this is not something that is, rare. This is extremely common. Anxiety is extremely common. The sad part about it is, however, is that a lot of people don't get treatment. They just live with it. And they live in agony with it, right? And that does not have to be. So please consider some of the tips and suggestions. And if you have any more questions, please let us know. We wish you the best.